What is up, YouTube? Today I want to talk with you about a very important thing, which is about getting married and having kids. Now, I believe there's one specific and a very big misconception that actually makes people, especially men, make a very poor decision when it comes to getting married or not, or having kids or not. And this is something that I want to share with you. Right off the bat, I want to say that this is actually something that I wish my parents would have taught me, or someone would have told me this way, way back, but nobody did, and that's okay because I cannot expect people to give me these things. It's actually something that it takes a lot of time to understand it, but once you do, it really might help you make better decision on whether or not get married or not get married, or have kids or not have kids. So let me just start with it. So the idea is that the people that are the closest to you have the biggest potential of taking you down. Now let me explain what I mean by this. This might sound a bit weird, but bear with me here. So here's a very classic example, something that I've seen happening with my friends and happening with a lot of guys. And by the way, I'm gonna always talk from a man's perspective. Why? Because I'm a man. Some of the things I say might be relevant for girls too, but I'm gonna speak from a man's perspective here. So the most classic example is that when, say, a guy is dating a girl, and let's say they have something, great, and they have a good relationship and everything, and the parents, always wanna recommend you to, create a family and have kids and everything. Now, let me be clear about this. I have a year and a half old kid, and let me tell you that becoming a father is one of the biggest things that will ever happen in your life. But it must happen in the right time. Now, what I'm trying to say is that what happens in these situations where parents, they push their kids, go marry her, yeah, have family, have kids. I know it sounds weird, but they actually do not want things for your best interest. They only think about themselves. This takes me back to what I told you, that kids are the most amazing things on the planet. Why? Because now that I know how it made me feel becoming a father, I know that I want to replicate that feeling when I'm going to be older. I'm 32 now. Maybe when I'm 50, maybe when I'm 60, I would love my kid to have kids. Why? Because I want to experience becoming a father again. Like almost like I'm going to be a grandfather, obviously, but that feeling is pretty addictive, and I want to feel it again. And this is what happens with parents. When they push their kids, when they push you as a man, they push you and they tell you, look, have kids, do this, and then this is their vision. This is not your vision necessarily. Now look, if you're into the family thing and all your life you thought about having kids and becoming a father, that's great, man. Go do it. And especially if you really think that you found like the right girl and she understands you, and you can build a long-term relationship with her, then go right ahead. But if you have big visions and big dreams in this life, and you want to really accomplish things, you must understand that although having kids is amazing, and by the way, marriage, I'm not even addressing it because in my opinion, marriage is not a huge deal. It's basically a contract. Marriage is not like when I proposed marriage to my wife, I didn't think about proposing marriage to her. I thought about having kids with her. That's what I wanted. So then I asked myself, okay, so So how do I get there? How do I get to that point of having kids? And I knew I had to marry her. That's like that's a station that I had to go through to get to where I wanted. So this is what I did. But overall, marriage is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It just means something later. If you want to split, or you want to, or I don't know, you want to divorce, then it's shit. Then it's a contract. But having kids, though, as much as it is amazing, and trust me, it really is amazing if you know how to look at it, and you experience it the right way. At the end of the day, it is very, very limiting. And it's very limiting, because let me give you an example. So for instance, let's say I want to be a worldwide musician, which I do want it, by the way. I do want to be a great musician. But at the end of the day, now I don't have all the luxury that I had when I was single. I cannot just go and whatever, save money and then go abroad and whatever, do what musicians do. And most musicians, what they do, they fly to LA and they live there for a while, and they get to know people face to face and not just online all the time. And look, I'm in a very distant country. I'm in Israel, so I'm not involved physically in the culture that I wanna be with. Now that I have a kid, though, I don't have that luxury anymore. I don't get to just fly away for a month, 2 months, or 3 months, or whatever. It has nothing to do with being a restrictive, or coming to my wife and tell her, look, like I want this. And no, you don't get to do that anymore, because having a kid, that kid is relying on you, and you want to stick around. You want to, by the way, you want to stick around, assuming you're a decent father, you're a good father. You want to be there. You want to see him grow. You cannot just go for a month, 2 months, half a year now, and disappear. When you're single, that's possible, but it's not possible anymore. It just doesn't work that way. So this takes me back to what I initially said, regarding the people that are closest to you have the most potential to take you down, because parents are the closest thing that could get to you, and even they think only about themselves when they tell you go marry that girl, or you need family, and they take you to that direction. If you're not strong enough mentally, if you're not strong enough to tell them, no, I don't want to do it, what's going to happen is this. Look, this is what's going to happen. This is the most classic example. So let's take my dream, for example, of being a musician and everything, and or whatever, if you want to be a DJ or whatever you want to do, whatever it is that your dream is. And this is my theory, and that theory says that it is inevitable that at one point in your life, you will say, fuck all of it. At the end of the road, at the end of the day, it might come to you at the age of 35, might come to you at the age of 45, and might come to you at the age of 60. The more you grow older, the more you understand how precious time is. Time is the most precious thing in the world. I didn't invent this. This exists, and everybody knows this. But not a lot of people acknowledge that. Not a lot of people really take it in to really assess this. So what they do, when we go back to that classic example that I talked with you about, what they do is they go and marry that girl. Why? Because they want to satisfy their parents. They want to satisfy her parents, or they want to satisfy her, right? They go and do it, this huge decision. And what's going to happen, as I said, it is inevitable that eventually, years later, whatever, could be even a month later, that guy, you will just ask yourself, holy shit, like, I don't even want this. I want to make my dreams come true. I want to fly away. I want to do this. I want to do that. There are things that I didn't do yet. But now it's going to be very limiting. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is still possible. But the odds are going to be very much against you. Let me tell you why. For example, being a musician means that you need to work your ass off. And by the way, this is relevant for everything. It doesn't matter what your dream is. I'm just taking music as example because this is something that is close to me. And you're gonna have to work your ass off for this. So now I don't get to do all of that. Why? Because now there is a family that I need to support. So I need to go out there and I need to work. And if I need to work in a job that I hate, then I will do it. Why? Because I want to be able to buy toys for my kid. And when my kid like points at something and he wants something, right? I mean, obviously I'm not gonna buy it like instantly, but you know what I mean. Like you don't want your kids to miss anything. You wanna be able to provide and to be able to buy them whatever they need. So it is very limited, and my point is, and this is the most important thing, is that try to see the bigger picture and don't try to satisfy other people. Just don't do it. Don't go down that road. Because if we go back to the example that I talked with you about that guy that proposed marriage because he wanted to impress or wanted to satisfy her or satisfy her parents, as I said, it is inevitable that years later or sometimes later, he will say, fuck all of it. Time is too precious for me. I want to go out there. I want to make my dreams come true as long as I am here because I only live once. So what's going to happen is, let's say this guy thinks like, holy shit, like this marriage thing is not going to work or this family thing is not going to work. It's not like a game. You cannot just click a stop button. Wait just a second. You cannot click a pause button or a stop button and then things will just go back to normal. Not anymore. Now you're gonna have to figure things out. Now you're gonna have to figure out and what's worse is, and this is the funny thing, by the way, everybody are gonna get mad at you way, way, way more than if you would have stopped it early. If you were strong enough to ask yourself and say, look, this girl is great and everything, but if I have to choose between being a musician or making my dream come true and her, I'm gonna pick this dream that I have. So if you were strong enough and you would have went on to her and you would tell her, look, this is not gonna work because I have dreams, there are things that I wanna do. I don't wanna slow you down. I don't wanna, I love you and everything, but I don't wanna be like this guy that will, you have dreams, you wanna have babies, you wanna have kids, whatever, and I don't want to rush this, and I just want to make my dreams come true right now. So if you would have said that, sure, she would probably be hurt, and sure, maybe your parents would be hurt too, and her parents might be hurt too, but it's gonna be significantly way less than they would get hurt when you're gonna make this whole thing explode, and it's gonna be a huge deal. It's gonna be big. So let me just end with this. Most of you are probably gonna think like, holy shit, like this guy's miserable, like he is no. Let me explain to you something. I love my kid and I would never take that back. I would never take that decision back. And it's just one of those things that, maybe if it would have happened in a better time, maybe if I would have been more focused on my dream, maybe things would have been different. But whatever, man. Like, I made a decision, and I'm down with it. I'm great with it, and even my marriage is actually pretty good. Like, but it is way harder for me to advance, because when I try to when I'm struggling with all these things, and I need to work, and I need to have to do all these things to provide, some other guy, some other musician is single, and he can do whatever he wants 24/7, and he can go and he can produce music at 3 a.m. and he can do whatever he wants, and he doesn't have any responsibilities, and he has way more advantage over me. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys, and just be smart about it, and don't be a satisfier. Don't be a person that tries to satisfy everybody. Satisfy your own damn self. Love yourself. Do what's great for you, and later take care of other people. And that's it. If you like this video, please share it, and all the best to you. Bye bye.